You guys want to go camping? You can go for a big adventure, Goose? Let's go!
Okay, so we arrived at our site. We're in site 183. It does have a pretty open front here. You can see the vehicles kind of blocking it right now, but you'll see it more when I get in. We've had to use some tarps a little bit here for pups, but it is a big site. I mean, we could have put a whole nother tent there. And the pups over there in their pen. Now we've positioned the tent and the Kuma to give us as much privacy over here as possible. I know we've talked about this multiple times before, but having a reactive dog who is visually triggered, which is that little guy there. Say hello, Lucifer. Willow, we're still learning how to work with the fact that she gets protective when she hears sounds. That's the guardian in her. I mean, you know, you deal with that when you get a guardian dog. So she's learning and training and doing really well this trip. But you can see that the placement of the tent, for the most part, has blocked the road from them. And then we put some tarps down here, just kind of act as a barrier. As well as a couple over there. You can kind of see the road through there. We weren't sure if it was going to end up being an issue, so we just put them there anyway, although those ones might come out to create more of a cover extending from here, because we're realizing that's not where they're seeing people, it's over here. But like in areas back here, this is all just trees. So it's definitely, if you set it up right, it is a beautiful private site. If you had a trailer, it would be even more private, because if you can imagine, and I'll step back over here again, but if you can imagine, if you had a trailer parked across in that area, it would completely block that road off for the most part. So great site. A lot of them in this area we're in the Iroquois Loop, and we're going to get everything set up inside, because right now it's just kind of piled there.
The pups and I, Willow and Goose, are at Port Burwell right now. Britt's back at the site right now. But yeah, so we're at the dog beach, and weekend after the long weekend, parking lot is bone dry. I mean, it is a Wednesday, and when I say a bone dry, it is not dry whatsoever. A lot of rain here over the past 24 hours before we got here, so a little bit of a mess, but yeah, just a heads up, and also poison ivy. Also, just a heads up, on the way into the dog beach, you'll see signs. If your dog is off leash, it is a $95 fine. And there's multiple signs, so just a heads up. So we're just about there. I do believe that's the first time they've been at the beach all year. Wednesday afternoon, not even a single soul here. Wow. Okay, so this beach is just massive. As you can see, there is a dog exercise area, and pretty much your dog could be off leash in this area past these posts. Going that way, towards the lighthouse that you can see way back there. Over on this side, you can see that there are signs that say no dogs beyond this point, which is fair. I mean, they do have a pretty big area. Goose, you gonna check out the water? Hey? In you go. Woo! Hey, Willow, did you want to go in too? Hey? No, I know. I don't blame them. It is currently 50 degrees Fahrenheit, 10 degrees Celsius for us Canadians.
All right, let's head to the beach. We have Charlie bears, Lucifer's favorite version, the blueberry and bacon. And we did put his muzzle on just in case, because it's easier to take it off if there's nobody there than it is to put it on if we have to be concerned. It is, as you can see, a little bit wet and mucky. But you know what? Sometimes a wet trip to the beach is the best because there's like nobody there. So let's go, buddy. Oh, it's a choppy one today. You don't care that there's waves. You're going to get your ball anyway, eh? Get it, buddy. Bring him up. Good boy. Bring him up. Good boy. You need another one? Grab it. Say thank you to your spring swap buddy for giving you this, eh? You like your chucky ball? Whoa! Big shake. You bringing him up? Did I go give you a special? Get your ball. The waves make it hard, don't they, buddy? That should be an easy one. Good boy. Limes. Good boy! Right back to his sister. Every time. Is that a good play session? Good play session, buddy? Nothing says relaxing after a day at the dog beach, like curling up with a knuckle bone. Or a natural chew of some form. We brought a few different ones, but tonight it's a knuckle bone. Relaxing. Well, I get to do some work. But they're happy. They'll sleep well tonight. Okay, so we've already shown you guys these Charlie bears, the ones that we were using earlier for the pups when we went to the beach. These are the grain-free crunch, bacon and blueberry, and they are Lucifer's absolute favorite. But I wanted to take a moment to just talk about the brand in general because Charlie Bear spoiled these two and sent over a little care package. The brand recently released a line of functional treats. Now, each of these treats not only taste great, but they also offer some sort of functional health benefit. There's one for skin and coat health. There's one for immune health. We have a help support health and vitality in general, as well as a joint and mobility. So we're going to go through and let these guys taste test some of these. Let's start with, oh, digestive health. Oh, guys. Ah. You shaking, Willow? I think digestive health passes the the puppy test. What? And this one is peanut butter and berry parfait. Then we have skin and coat health, which is strawberry swirl. Hi, girl. Hi, Goose. Let's see. Whoa. Want one more? Yeah, you want more? You want one more? A plus, I think. We have immune health, which is sunny side up. Oh. Also pretty excited. And I've got health and vitality, which is shepherd's pie. Apparently I don't have the joint one here, which is on me. I forgot to grab it, but the joint one was definitely a win as well with these two. And also a really good benefit for those of you who have hiking dogs, because we all know that joint mobility is important. Oh, this one might be a favorite for Willow. You dropped it, girl. You were so excited. I think this might be the winner for Willow, is the shepherd's pie here. But we just want to give a huge thank you to Charlie Bear for sending all of these over. And I know that these two are going to absolutely enjoy them. Lucifer's trying to open the bag right now. And if you haven't checked out Charlie Bear treats, these are Lucifer's favorites. These were gifted to us from the company, but let me tell you, we buy these all the time because this little one is addicted to them. So we highly recommend Charlie Bear dog treats. Well, it was just starting to spit rain a little bit, which has been the story of this trip. It looks like the sky's trying to clear itself up. But that's okay, we've got a fire going, and we're all back here in the Kuma. We got Willow over here in her Kuma Daisy Bear dog bed. And Goose down here, he's on his Wingo pad right now. Sometimes he's up in the chair with me, but right now he's down on his Wingo pad that he absolutely loves. We're all just enjoying the fire from the shelter and safety of the Kuma, which is, I guess, the best possible scenario when it's a rainy days.
This guy's been marinating for a couple of days now, so this is our last big meal of this trip, so we always make a big meal. So.
And you love cooking on the fire, so.
Fire's the way to go.
Okay, we're here. We are at the Ravine Creek Trail. Now, this is just off the recreational field here. So if you're looking for it, you go to Leander, go to the recreational field where the playground is, and off to one side, you'll see the sign, the trail guides box. There's another sign over there, and there are signs everywhere about poison ivy, so just be careful.
Oh, this is gonna be fun. Yeah, just heads up. These steps do not have actual platforms. It looks like 6x6s. Willow's just gonna go beside them. Yeah, so it is pretty muddy. We've been here since Wednesday. It's rained every single day, even pack up day at 6 o'clock this morning, but overall not too bad, but just a heads up, it does get muddy here. I don't know why do they call it the Ravine Trail? Oh, that. Free. was sun. He went away, but that's okay. Make the best of it, right, Willow? I'm glad that we're going down instead of up, but I imagine that there's going to be a spot where we're going to have to go back up. It's just the way it goes. Are you counting the amount of steps, Willow? Don't think you are. More than one, less than 1,000. I knew it. There's always an up to one of those downs. Girl, Willow. Willow, you did it! You did it! You did it!
Okay, so Port Burwell. Not our first time there.
Nope.
Not our last time there.
Nope.
And it was a bit of a rainy trip, as you guys have already seen. But of course, we still need to come to you and share our review and our final thoughts about the parks. So let's get started.
Yeah, so getting there. I mean, we're coming from Grey County, so we're just shooting right across Ontario, right? So across London area. So it took us probably about like 3 hours or so to get there. Back roads. I mean, if you're coming from Toronto, you'll be hitting the 401 and then heading south, and then if you're coming from London, I mean, it's not far from London, so yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So then when we get there, campsites. There are obviously both electrical and non-electrical sites. There are no waterfront sites, despite the fact, and we'll talk a lot more about beaches and water and everything later, but despite the fact that this park is known for being like a beach go-to, the beach is actually in a separate area from the park. So there are no sites that you can go stay and be on the water and swim right off your campsite. Don't let that deter you. As I said, we'll talk about the beaches later, and it is so well worth it. These sites are not necessarily as private as we like in some areas. However, I will say that when you're driving through Port Burwell, it's kind of a really interesting experience in that, like, the first campground and like half of the second campground have a completely different feel than the second half of the campground and the back campground. So when you're driving through, I believe it's Elzora and half of Leander have one feel, and then the other half of Leander and I can't remember, is it Algonquin? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Have a completely different feel. The back area, both the back campground and that half of Leander are a lot more private than the front area, and that's just the style of trees and vegetation that give you more privacy. That said, if you have a dog that is easily triggered, if you have a reactive dog like we do with Lucifer, I would definitely pack extra tarps and be prepared that you're going to have to take some steps just to block off those visual triggers, because the campsites themselves aren't just going to naturally do that for you like they would normally.
Burwell has 2 hiking trails there. The Ravine Creek, which is 1 kilometer, and the Beach Trail, which is 2 kilometers.
The beach trail is kind of interesting because it actually runs along the front of all the beaches, and to even get to the beach, you have to cross the beach trail. But it's also a trail that goes from the campground to the beaches. So it's one that you don't necessarily hike to just go out and go for a hike per se. It's a functional trail that's going to allow you to go to the beach, spend the day at the beach, and hike back again.
Mm-hmm. So the Ravine Creek Trail, it's pretty casual. It's not very hard. I mean, there are ups and downs and whatnot. I mean, you still have to. I
wouldn't take a wheelchair or a wagon or a stroller on it, per se, but it's a nice trail.
Yeah, it's nice and moderate.
And now, the reason you're all looking for, the reason everybody loves Port Burwell, and the reason we've been there multiple times in the past and will be back again, and that is the beach. They have an absolutely incredible big sandy beach, plenty of sand area to stretch out, kind of claim your spot. We've gone there before where we literally brought a shade tent and sat there the whole day, like one of those little shade, not a tent, I guess, the structures, the half umbrella type structures.
Yeah, the little shelters.
Yeah, so it is absolutely somewhere you could go and spend all day at the beach and not regret that decision one bit. As far as the dog area, they have a really interesting setup in that there is literally signs, and it's like a line in the sand, where there is an off-leash area and an on-leash area. So if your dog is off-leash friendly, you go to the very end and you've got a big off-leash area where they're allowed to run off-leash and play with each other and have fun there. But if your dog is not comfortable being off-leash, you don't have to worry about the fact that it is such a popular beach and that there are going to be a lot of off-leash dogs there, because if you go to the other side of that sign, you're now in an on-leash area that you can take your dog and still enjoy it responsibly, with a leash on your dog, where you can kind of find your own space. I will say on weekends, especially in prime season, it gets crazy. Like, it is super popular, super busy, a ton of people there. So if you have a reactive dog, as far as a like weekend getaway during the summer, it might not be the best option for that. However, we went and we did a weekend, but we stayed a little bit extra, as you guys saw, over there during the week on Thursday. So a lot of people weren't there. People were, back at work. They were at school because this was before school let out. And we had a whole bunch of the beach to ourselves. We did see one other person show up, but it also was a rainy day. You guys saw it, like, super gray. It wasn't overly sunny. It was perfect for Lucifer. He loved it. He had a great time, even with the waves there. But that is a way to kind of find a chance to enjoy that beach, even if you have a reactive dog. And before we move on, one more thing about the beach that just came to mind as I said that: the waves. I have had multiple people mention that if someone has a small dog or a dog who's not a strong swimmer, those waves can get pretty intense. You guys would have seen already in our footage that they were coming in pretty good on Lucifer when he was going after his ball. Now, I mean, in his case, he used it as a way to bring his ball to him so he could be lazy. But for a dog that might not be a strong swimmer, it might be a good idea to look into a life jacket and make sure that you keep that dog on leash so that if they do get swept up in that current, you can get that dog back to you safely.
And our favorite part, firewood. So driving in, there were a few places that did have firewood at the road for sale. But we ended up going into town itself and bought a few bundles of wood from one of the local stores there. And yeah, so it burnt all right. It wasn't like the greatest, but it did burn. And funny thing is, we did get some wood from the park, and surprisingly, probably the best wood that we've ever had from a provincial park in a long time. I don't know if it was from last season or what, but yeah, we actually had a pretty good fire. So kudos to Port Burwell on that one.
Definitely. So now we are on to the final step, which is to give our final rating. Now, for those of you who might be new to our channel, what we do is we give a rating out of 5 paws. And that is based on not just the park itself, but like the park as it is for pet parents. So pet accessibility, pet opportunities, whether there's private sites for reactive dogs or not, that kind of thing. I would say I have a really hard time giving a low score because of the beach. That said, the sites themselves aren't quite as private, which pulls it down a little bit for me. So I'm kind of wavering between a 4 or a 4.5.
I think I'm going with a 4.
So there we have it. 4 paws out of 5 for Port Burwell. If you are looking for like a beach getaway with your pup, like this is one of the best options you can choose. Another really good one would be Long Point, which we have covered before. I will put that up here So you can check out that video. It was another just great beach destination. So there are some incredible beach opportunities with your dogs here in the province. But this is the first official review from this season.
Wow.
And by first official review, I mean there are many more to come. So if you have not, hit subscribe, hit that notification bell, make sure that you don't miss out on our videos to come. We have quite a few. We have Charbet Lake, Balsam Lake. We're checking out a really pretty hip camp that I can't wait to share with you guys for those
Lake
who are
St.
looking
Peter.
for something a little bit more private. Oh yeah, Lake St. Peter.
Yep.
So there are a lot of destinations to come. Make sure that you are following and subscribed, and we will share all of that information with you in our upcoming videos.
Stay toasty.